Today I want to share with you exactly how I retired at the age of 27. How I did it and maybe how you could do it as well. You see, I started very early at a young age, the path of entrepreneurship. I started my first business when I was in high school, just with a couple of buddies mowing lawns for people in our neighborhoods. That's my very first business. There are three things that I did during this time that allows me to retire young and retire rich. So the very first thing is this. I focus on developing what I call high income skills. My high income skills. Skills that allow me to bring value to the marketplace in exchange of money. Now I define high income skills as skills that could make me $10,000 or more per month. You see, the first 5 years of my business career, when I was getting started, the first 5 years, I didn't take a single day off. I was working 12 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for the first 5 years. While all my friends, they were out there drinking and having parties and chasing girls, I was fucking working. I sacrificed. I made a lot of sacrifices. I believe if you don't sacrifice for your dream, then your dream becomes your sacrifice. So I made a decision. I paid the price early on. I spent a few years of my life working on myself, working on my business, doing the things that most people are too lazy to do, not willing to do, so I could have what most people cannot have. The very first high income skill that I developed was copywriting. Now you might wonder what that is. Well, it's simply the skill to use words to sell. That's it. Print persuasion, or persuasion in print. And I was running a one-man advertising agency myself. If you watch the TV show Mad Men, that's kind of what I was doing, without all the smoking and all that bullshit. But I was basically a marketing guy in my early 20s, working with companies, working with entrepreneurs. And I was making $10,000 a month, $12,000 a month in my early 20s. And at the time, I thought it was like, I felt like $1 million. I thought it was the most money I've ever seen. And I did that. Then later on, I took that money, the income that I earned, I put that aside and I started, quote unquote, a scalable business. Now, if you want to retire early and retire young, one of the most important things that you have to know is noticing and identifying trends. At the time, I went onto the internet. I saw this trend on the internet. We're talking about back then, remember Netscape? Dial-up modem. I'm talking about Overture for pay-per-click. You know, good old days. You watching this young guys, you may or may not even know this, but I'm talking about Yahoo for search engines. Okay, Facebook and then later on Google. But I'm talking about that's when I got started back then, early, and I noticed the trend on the internet. And I was importing collectibles from Hong Kong, Bruce Lee collectibles actually, and I was flipping them on eBay. I was doing affiliate marketing. I was doing digital marketing online. I was selling digital products before PDF, before all these things were even popular, software, all these things, and that's how my first bucket of money. Then I took that money and I sold some of those businesses, so I cashed out, and I took that money and I invest in real estate. Then my investments are able to support my lifestyle, and that's how I retire at the age of 27. But here's one thing I've learned through that experience. At the age of 27, I thought this was my dream. I thought I want to get to a point where I don't have to work anymore. I'll sit on the beach all day and that is going to be it. And I did that the first month. First 30 days, I was sitting on the beach on English Bay, just sitting there every single day, right? Looking at the beach, looking at the ocean. I thought, I have made it. You know what? All I got was sunburned. That's it. You may dream of sitting on the beach every day. I'm telling you, when you could do it, I was bored out of my mind. I thought, this is fucking stupid. I worked so hard to get here and now I'm sitting on the beach doing nothing. This is dumb. Like, did I work all like this hard and made all that sacrifices for this? Like, come on. Because you gotta understand, when you're an entrepreneur, I was going like this every day, go, 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 go. Suddenly, when you have nothing to do, when you cash out, when you have investments, you're like, okay, I guess, what else do you do? right? After 30 days of that, I was sick and tired of it. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever. So the second month, I did something different. I actually thought, you know what, I'm gonna watch some movies. So at the time, I rented a lot of movies, a lot. I was watching 6, 7 movies, the DVDs, stack of them, every single day. Let me tell you something, I love movies, don't get me wrong. But when you're watching 6, 7 movies every fucking day, you don't like movies so much anymore, believe me, okay? After 30 days of that, I'm like, this is again, the dumbest thing ever. I just felt like I was so lazy, I felt like I wasn't doing anything with my life. Then I went to talk to my mentor, and he said, okay, Dan, here's what I want you to do. I want you to start another business. I said, no, I'm not gonna start another business. I was killing myself all these years so I could retire. You don't understand. I'm not gonna work. He said, no, you're gonna start another business. I said, no, I am not gonna start another business. He said, you're gonna start another business. I said, no. But this time he said, you're gonna start a business from a totally different place because now you made it. You could start your business coming from a place of strength, coming from a place of abundance, coming from a place of something that you want. What do you want to create? Build it around your strength. Build it around your passion. Because now money is not an issue. You're not just doing it to make money. What could you do? How could you use all the skills that you've accumulated, you've developed, all the business acumen, all the knowledge that you have? How can you use that to build something great? And I thought, that I could do. So that's my story. That's how I retired at the age of 27. I don't know where you're at in your journey. Maybe you want to retire young, maybe you want to retire at the age of 45, 55, 65. I don't know where you're at. But what I do know is it's possible. And what I also do know is once you get there, there's always another step. There's always another level. So don't wait, don't feel like you have to get to a point where, hey, you know what, I'm gonna spend my whole life doing stuff that I hate so I could get to a point where finally I could do some stuff that I love. No. Enjoy the journey. Success is a journey, not a destination.